Hi everybody, in this video we're going to look at the difference between deflation and disinflation. And the main thing to remember here is that if you have disinflation, we still have inflation. There's still inflation in the word. Disinflation means that you have inflation still, so a sustained increase in the average price level, but it's at a lower rate. So for example, maybe your inflation was 2% and now your inflation is 1.5%. So the average price level was going up by 2%, now it's going up by 1.5%. You still have inflation, you've just got less inflation than you had before. Deflation is a sustained decrease in the average price level. So this is different. This is where, on average, prices are falling. Disinflation, you still have inflation, just at a slower rate, a lower rate. In this diagram, we can see the Consumer Prices Index, which is a measure of inflation, as we know, and this is showing it over time from January 2008 to May 2021. And this is showing the target in the UK. We know that the target is 2% plus or minus 1%. And in this diagram, there's only a very small part where we're going below zero. It's tiny, just this bit here. So actually, if we put in a line illustrating the zero line on this diagram here, this shows us when we are above zero here, for all of these measures on here, all of these ones, these are all positive values. And if it's positive, then it means that prices are going up. It's a bit confusing when you first look at it, because some of these lines are coming down, but actually the average prices are still increasing. For instance, at this point here, prices are 4% higher than they were 12 months ago. At this point here, prices are 3% higher than they were 12 months ago. Even here, let's imagine this is at 1, prices are 1% higher than they were 12 months ago. And then we climb back up. Here, prices are 2.5% higher than they were a year ago. So we've got prices increasing all the time that we're above zero. However, on some of the chart, we are seeing disinflation. And that's because your rate of inflation is lower than it was previously. So for example, here, the rate of inflation is 1%, whereas at this point, it was 3%. And that means in this section here, we still have an increase in prices, but at a lower rate. So that area there is showing disinflation. We've got disinflation. We've got inflation, but at a lower rate. The only part of this chart where we've got deflation, a sustained decrease in the average price level, is in these very small sections here, which are where we're below zero. So this means there's a negative change in the average price level. And whenever we're below zero, we've got a fall in the average price level. And it's very small on the diagram, but where this goes down, it becomes negative. even if it's coming up again, as long as it's below zero, the average price level is still falling because the change is negative. So anything below the zero line means we've got a sustained decrease in the average price level. When it comes down and goes up again, it's still a fall in the average price level. It might just be less of a fall. It's quite difficult to see on this diagram because it's only just come below zero. But anywhere below zero, we've got deflation. So now you should practice on other charts looking at whether the inflation rate is at a lower rate, disinflation, or have we come below zero? If we've come below zero, it's immediately deflation, a sustained decrease in the average price level.